welcome back to this week's edition of the Fresh Takes Podcast. I'm, of course, Paul Russo, and across from me, as always, man, myth, legend himself, legend of sport, Nick Felice. Nick, how you doing today, bud?
Not too bad, Paul. Haven't gotten out there to swing the old putter around on the miniature golf course yet for the season, but I am ready to talk. Not golf, more playoffs.
Yeah, we got more playoffs going on right now still, obviously, and among some other things going on in sport that you may or may not have seen over the weekend. But yeah, we got some Game 7s going on in the NHL. The NBA playoffs finally starting to look like things are a little bit exciting in certain spots. The big news of the weekend, the Kentucky Derby. We'll touch on that. And it's been a little bit since we talked some baseball, but baseball has been off to a little bit of a wild start for a lot of players, a lot of teams.
Is it at its quarter mark yet?
No. I don't think so. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think we're still a few weeks away from that. But, yeah. So, without further ado, I guess, let's jump right on into some things here, and we'll start with the NHL. So yesterday, the East was officially set. We'll start there.
Is it the finals you thought would be in the East?
No, well, I don't think it's the finals anybody thought would be in the East. Certainly not by a long shot. I think when you look at it, obviously I think a lot of people had, really the winner of the Bruins, what they thought would be Lightning series in this spot, and a lot of people had the Lightning. Turns out it was the Bruins. They went 6 with Columbus. Columbus played tough all series with the Bruins. And, hey, they made a tough few games there for them, even that last game last night. You got a physical play. Trey McAvoy will miss the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals for a dangerous hit that he had. He'll miss game 1. And they'll face the bunch of jerks. Carolina Hurricanes swept the New York Islanders. This team's tough. The team that just won't die. Don Cherry, if you know hockey, Don Cherry works up in Canada. But he's been probably the main voice for hockey the better part now of 30 to 40 years in many parts of, obviously all of Canada and certain parts of the U.S. And he does not love this team, but this is probably the team that I think, you want to root for. They're a fairly younger bunch. They really don't care. They celebrate. They have personality. Can help kind of a little bit, not to say Boston has that personality, but, you'll hit Boston, their original 6 team. A lot of people look at them as a stuffy sort of, organization maybe in a way. And, maybe not stuffy's, not the right word, but more of a, to-do organization. But that series will be fun. And then out west, 2 Game 7s. We have one going on right now, Dallas and St. Louis, tied going into the third period. It's what you want. Hockey playoffs are, usually the most exciting to watch. And, out west, we're giving it to you right now. We may still be on the air when that game gets done. We have to deliver good news to you. And then the Avs and the Sharks, they play their Game 7 tomorrow night. Again, I don't think anybody expected the Avs to be hanging around here still, and they have with San Jose. So, out west has been crazy. Maybe not as crazy as the East, but Game 7s are out west. That's where your fun hockey's getting played right now. You want to look at quickly, Game 6 for that game yesterday between Boston and Columbus. You look at Boston and they obviously got everything kind of going for them a little bit in a way. Tuukka Rask has been, certainly probably, at the very least, their defensive MVP at goalie, but, nonetheless, playing extremely well on his head this whole really playoff run so far. And you certainly, would imagine he'll do the same against Carolina. Carolina, though, seems to have been able to kind of pick at these really good goaltenders all year so far, especially in the playoff. And, nothing's really ever guaranteed, obviously, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. This is clearly, this year's a great example. Best team best team on paper isn't always going to win. Best team on ice is going to be the one that wins. Game in and game out. Game 6 yesterday, wasn't, if you don't really pay attention to hockey, you don't recognize any of these names that scored for Boston yesterday. Maybe the one you might recognize most would be probably David Backes, who scored yesterday for Boston. So, you got to give your hats off to Columbus, though. They went 6 games with Boston, swept Tampa Bay. Obviously kind of icing on the cake type deal with them thus far. And then Carolina, seriously, this team, this series against Boston, you think probably will go 7. Especially, games 3 and 4 in Carolina, in Raleigh at the PNC Arena, 5-2 victories each game over the Islanders, and you can make the case that the Islanders were never really in it. So, some interesting notes there coming out of them. One of their better defensemen so far this playoff, and Trevor Van Riemsdyk, he's out the rest of the playoff no matter how far they get. He had to have a surgery on his shoulder the other night, so they'll be minus him. And then out west, like I said, we got ourselves a game going on tonight in St. Louis. They just dropped the puck on the third effectively. Still got nothing going on. Both goals scored in the first period tonight. Former Ranger Matt Zuccarello got the goal for Dallas. Vince Dunn for the Blues.
If I must say, on the East, I actually think the Bruins will dominate the Hurricanes.
Really?
The Hurricanes beat an Islanders team that beat up on the Penguins, which is a very good team. I think it's going to be the Islanders had a hangover going to the Carolina series. Carolina is going to have a hangover going into this Boston series. And I think Boston, there's a really good chance they can run away with the Stanley Cup. Because they're the only team that I can really see winning the Stanley Cup. None of these other teams are big names up there. They're new. They haven't really been in contention in an NHL late playoff push in a long time. So I like Boston as the favorite, and I think they could beat Carolina in 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, a possibility. You're right. Kind of overall, actually, for the whole entire playoff, outside of Boston, none of these teams have really made a deep run in quite some time. If you want, you can make the case for the Sharks. They haven't been, in a situation to get into a Stanley Cup, say from a final standpoint, and they've been around. It's been probably 3 or 4 years. But I mean, they have the notorious history of choking. St. Louis certainly, it's been a few years as well. And then Carolina, I don't think Carolina's been in this position since the mid-2000s at the very earliest even. I think maybe against Tampa Bay even in 2004. So certainly some interesting stuff there. We'll keep you guys, if we end up getting some updates here.
What is the score?
It's 1-1. So
in the first, second, third?
Third. They dropped the puck on the third, probably about 5 minutes or so ago.
Who you liking that game? We like balling out.
Well, I mean, St. Louis.
So it's in St. Louis?
St. Louis has been the best team since the new year, and I feel like I'd be a bit blind to the fact of that. Just to be honest. Both teams right now on ice probably have their best lines out. So if you're going to get a goal, it's probably going to be from one of your third liners. So it will be interesting there, that's for sure. I like the Blues. 2-1 overtime. Getting an overtime feel from this game. I think so.
How much time is left?
15:45. So, any predictions, Nick? You got?
I'll go the opposite. I think Dallas sneaks it out with 2 minutes to go.
Wow.
2-1.
All right. I like that. And then you said you got the Bruins.
Yes.
I, too, got the Bruins.
Well, you have them in 7.
Yeah, I got them in 7. Then out west, tomorrow I'm going to go the other upset. I'm going to go with Colorado, I think, at this point. So you have Colorado for me. Colorado versus St. Louis for me. You'll have Dallas versus... All right.
Yeah. No Colorado, no.
All right. I like that. Now we'll turn our attention to some...
You have Colorado, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colorado
that's what he said.
So, we'll turn our attention to the NBA with Nick surprisingly tuning into a few games here recently, I know.
I just like to see Paul Pierce be wrong.
That's a good point. It has been quite fun there. Man, the Raptors are killing the 76ers right now. They are up 32 points, 107-75.
I think Embiid's not playing very well.
Well, he's apparently got the excuse. Apparently he's not breathing. He's sick or something. Who cares?
He's such a baby.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you're going to play. I'll freaking don't understand half the issues here. And then, but yeah, that series, a lot of banter going on in that series. Toronto looks like they'll get a 3-2 series lead after tonight. I don't understand. It's not like it's a dead rivalry, or a live rivalry at any time. But I don't understand where some of the chippiness is coming from between these two teams. You have guys tripping each other. It's really weird. JJ Redick has been complaining a lot. I mean, all NBAers complain a lot, but JJ seems to have escalated a little bit this series. You have Nick Nurse becoming a meme legend at this point. It's just a really weird series. I think it has a game 7 written all over the series. Just the way it's been. Neither of these two teams seem to get that leverage on each other that you see in that Milwaukee series we got right now. But yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Me and you share similar views on the 76ers. I know that. So I don't know what your overall view is. I guess of.
I hope Toronto beats them as quick as possible.
Okay.
I do not like the Sixers. I do not like the Celtics, but I do like this new angle. This is different.
I'll try something there.
I think I could definitely see the Raptors-Sixers series going 7. Well, do I want it to go 7? No, I want the Raptors to kill them in Game 6 like they are right now. The Celtics, I think it could be over. I think they should start worrying. Game 5 could be it, and that could be it for Kyrie's Celtics career. And it'd be funny because Paul Pierce did say it was over after Game 1 for the Bucks. He's talking about. Paul Pierce is a Celtic legend.
Thinks he's better than Dwayne Wade.
Yes, he did not like Chauncey Billups' comment that he thought the Bucks would win yesterday, and they did.
Smoked them.
Yeah, the Celtics are the Bucks are loaded. They're not like loaded with like the Warriors loaded, but they are just deep. Like literally their 10th to 12th man could literally be a 6th man at any NBA team. I really believe that. I mean, you got guys like Mirtovic, Brook Lopez, I think might be starting now, but he's been coming off the bench. Then they have guys like Paul Gasol doesn't even play, and DiVincenzo, rookie, doesn't even play. So there's like really some good players. Pat Connaughton, shout out. Bonzi Colson, shout out on the team. Yeah, they're a good team. I still don't know if I'm going to pick them in the finals because I am going to be rooting for the Raptors. I like the Raptors. I like Kawhi. I like to see them get there just because everyone thinks they suck because they couldn't get by LeBron. No one could get by LeBron unless you're the Warriors. And Raptors are still a good team. I think Dwayne Casey got screwed. And, yeah, that's really it for me.
Yeah, so, man, Kyrie's been off this series. So you look on Instagram and Twitter, whatever you got, a lot of people saying he's been in his bag. I'm like, yeah, he's been in his trash bag maybe. It's been rough for him, especially Game 4 rather, yesterday. Yeah, I mean, this thing looks like it's freaking done. Yeah, Giannis is such a problem. Oh my God! But it's so much fun to watch him. He's so.
You've been following him ever since the start.
Yeah, you guys made fun of me, but I was more being closer to right than you guys were, so I'll take that.
He did say top 5 all time.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Is he in your top 5 all time right now?
Not right now. Yeah, he's got the potential. Potential.
Is Kevin Durant the top 5 all time?
No.
You don't even have Michael Jordan, right?
No.
Can you repeat that?
No.
Can you just say, like, I don't have Michael Jordan?
I don't have Michael Jordan in my top 5.
All right. People will know. It's on the record. But, yeah. You talking about Greek Freak?
Yeah. But, yeah, he's been fun to watch this series. Probably his, true national coming out party probably this series, I'd say. And, he probably should be MVP. You have people saying Harden. But if I had to vote, it's Giannis all day. He's just been so much fun to watch. Such a pleasure to watch. Really someone we've never seen of his stature do and play before. I think closest comparison you could make maybe Durant, but he's taller than Durant. He's lengthier than Durant. Like his hands are bigger than Durant's. Like it's nuts. He's pretty much like a clone kind of to Durant. Durant, you give the edge to shooting, but outside of that, man, I don't, it's hard for me to really give that edge, anywhere else for him. It's funny, though, how Durant's going to get, he's kind of been in the shadow of LeBron all this time, and now he's going to get put in the shadow of Giannis after this year. But, speaking of Durant, that Rockets and Warrior series, again, fun to watch. Pretty much nip and tuck, especially at the end of the games here, the whole series, especially the last two. Durant game 3 was prime Durant. You couldn't ask for more. I really hate how everyone's kind of riding Harden, for he's so great playing with a busted eye. I'm like, he wouldn't be out there if he couldn't see straight. I don't care what anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the Rockets, they just need to keep doing what they've been doing. In my mind, offensively, they've got it to a pace where they're able to contain the Warriors on their offense. So, I think if they keep doing that, it's a slower offense for Houston. Actually, we look at D'Antoni and Harden and Chris Paul, and they're up tempo player and coach, and they're slowing it down. In my mind, doing the things that you have to do against a team where they're on a run pace. So I think another thing too that's probably hurting Golden State is the obvious with being minus Boogie Cousins. Sure, it helps them out in speed wise having Draymond as your center, your starting center, but they're lacking that inside presence, and Clint Capella is just kind of dominating interior wise. Specifically the paint area. It's really odd to say that in today's game, but maybe not so much on offense, but when it comes to that, the presence you need on a rebound, or that presence you need on a free throw, or the presence you need when that ball is getting tipped up in the air and is heading out of bounds, and the only guy who can get it is the lone 7-footer, that last guy. So, you almost wonder, could Steve Kerr come out with Andrew Bogut to kind of start and see what kind of happens? Maybe. I doubt it. At that point, you really wonder, is it worth it having Andre Iguodala sit and be the sixth man again versus having him start at, I think they're putting him at the 3, having Durant be the 4, and Draymond at the 5. So it'll be interesting to see, I guess, those adjustments. See if they do them. If not, do they try and, just maybe they slow it down slower and kind of throw off Houston. You don't know, what they're going to do because their offense is based on such a speed game. We watched the game Saturday night, so that would make it, game 3? And I know we were kind of loving how the Warriors were struggling a little bit, especially Steph. Steph was, the past couple games, Steph has been kind of off. Game 4, he was certainly better than he was in Game 3, but not that peak Steph. And I know we were loving every second of Game 3, though.
Where does Steph rank all of time?
He'll for sure probably be a top 50 player all time eventually, when it's all said and done.
He's not right now. Is he up there with LeBron and Durant?
No, not yet.
Harden?
Yeah, he's probably with Harden, I'd say.
What about Westbrook?
He's probably sort of with them. I think a little bit behind, to be fair, I guess.
What about Kawhi?
Somewhere in between. For me, somewhere in between those guys and Durant and LeBron.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would put him above them, but I wouldn't put him with Durant and LeBron yet.
I know, you don't see Curry. People don't look at him as a top player anymore, the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely, like you said, he hasn't shown it in these last couple games. Durant showed up. It's just, I don't know what's up with them. You think their defense is lacking?
Well, I don't know if it's so much their defense, but they're not used to that slow pace or slower pace that Houston has a. Now it's not 7 seconds and less offense that D'Antoni had in Phoenix, but they went a more efficient route in offense this year, and you can't really, I guess, pinpoint exactly one thing. Like I said, I think the main thing is saying the obvious is without Boogie, they aren't able to kind of keep everyone in check for Houston on offense. It seems as though there's someone open to some degree for Houston on every play.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick look at the other series going on. Portland and Denver. That series, probably honestly the best one to watch. It's just trapped though on the West Coast. Like, at least with the Houston series, Houston Golden State series, it comes to Houston, so it's only an hour behind the Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
But Denver and Portland, Denver's in Mountain Time, that's 2 hours behind. Portland, obviously, in Pacific Time, 3 hours behind. So it's trapped pretty much in that 10:30 time slot automatically. So really no one on the East Coast, well, I can't say that. A lot of people on the East Coast haven't been able to watch this series, and you're missing literally probably on the best series in the playoffs.
It's going 7.
Yeah, this series is going 7. In my mind, it's literally been a battle of Jokic versus Damian Lillard. And I know that they don't guard each other, but it's who's been playing the best that day. Their team's won. That 4 overtime game, I fell asleep in the second overtime for. And apparently Jokic was just out there kind of zombieing around still and still playing pretty decent ball. Portland on the other end. Oh, by the way, while we were discussing, Toronto officially won. Portland and Denver has tipped off. So,
okay.
A lot of fun going on there. Obviously, yeah, it's a big game 6 in Philadelphia on probably Friday would be my bet, the way they do the series. Anyway, Jokic, he might be the best passing big man we've seen since,
Joking, no.
Man, but it didn't seem. Only Joakim could see the floor like Jokic can sometimes.
I was semi-kidding.
No, well, you aren't far off, though.
He was good.
Joakim. I mean, when he was on the Bulls specifically, he was such a terrific asset to have because you could trust him with the ball in terms of passing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Marcus Gasol's another one.
Marcus Gasol, both Gasols really. But Jokic, he's doing something no other big guy's done. He's averaging over 9 assists a game in the playoffs. We haven't seen numbers like that since Bill Walton, really. Even then, Walton didn't get that high. Walton was averaging somewhere around 7 in the playoffs. So
he's good.
It's interesting.
Do you think he needs to lose some weight?
No, I don't think so.
He looks chunky.
Well, I've heard people call him a loaf of bread. So there's that. It's, also he seems to bleed a lot randomly too. Like, have you ever noticed like his arm, or there's also like a spot like by his eye? It just seems like if he gets touched there's like bruising or something.
Mm.
But Jokic, it's really actually a kind of cool battle that Jokic has too going on with Enes Kanter down low in the post. You probably don't like it being the next man, but Enes Kanter has been a really big asset to Portland this series.
I'm still a Kanter fan.
Guy's playing pretty much with a separated shoulder every night. He's going to need surgery.
These teams are
postseason,
really similar.
Yeah.
They are similar teams. Do you think it would be different if Nurkic was out there? Nurkic being the Trailblazers center that got hurt.
Yes and no. It's just hard to, I guess, say really because you have Enes Kanter out there doing a really great job, and I don't know if Nurkic would be able to stop Jokic the way Enes has sometimes. Now, it's not to say Nurkic isn't bad, but defensively, but he's not as good as I think Enes is. So I guess that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah, this series I think could definitely go 7. Do I think it's going to go 7? I think it all depends on tonight. Tonight's game is in Denver. If Portland wins this game tonight, I think this series is over in 6. I think Portland closes it out. I think if Denver wins tonight, there's a good chance it could go 7. I mean, there is that chance that Denver could steal one on the road in Game 6. It just all depends what happens tonight, is whether or not it will go 7 or not. Do I think either one of these teams has a threat towards the Rockets or the Warriors? No. No, I think these teams are playing for second place. I'm looking at it as like the NHL. I just can't see Portland or Denver in the NBA Finals this year, especially when the Warriors is one of those other teams that are competing. If the Rockets do end up being the Warriors, I can see the Rockets in the NBA Finals just because of what they just did. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be the Warriors. And I want it to be Portland, but I think it's going to be Denver. I think we're looking at chalk in both sides of the NBA playoffs. And there's a very good chance that chalk continues to go until the finals when the Warriors, with the weaker 1 seed, beats the Bucks. Is that exciting? No, but this round has been very, very thrilling for what is. I mean, a lot of people are thinking the NBA is a joke right now. I am one of those people. But this round has definitely been. It's almost like the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament. Just been an awesome round. And I think it's going to continue. Don't be surprised if the Celtics win a game or 2. But I don't think they will. But don't be surprised. I won't be surprised if they do.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I tend to agree with you actually on the Portland-Denver deal. I think on paper I still like Portland more than I do Denver. But, I mean, if Denver can get one here at home, you know, it gives them home court for Game 7, obviously. I mean, yeah, Portland gets out of here, they're going to have a raucous crowd there for Game 6.
It's a big game tonight.
Yeah, so tune in after you get done here, I guess. Game should be pretty fun and interesting to watch. So let's move on to the big...
Yay!
You all right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the big story of the weekend. I don't know where to really start with this. I don't even know how to kind of come off the bat with it. It was such a insane half an hour. You know,
you saw it went down. I had left because I thought the race was over.
Yeah. So, Country House, the 20 horse out of the gate, 65-1 odds, biggest, or however you want to say, biggest or long, whatever, longest, the long shot won, biggest long shot since I think it was, what was it? Shit, I'm forgetting it.
Barbaro?
No. What was the horse? Brown?
Big Brown?
Big Brown, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah. So it's such a weird situation that happened. So in the final turns, so 3 and 4, if you look at it that way, sloppy track, raining all day. Maximum security impeded a couple horses. However, Country House really wasn't one of them. The jockey for Country House filed a protest, or whatever they call it. That led for a lengthy review from the stewards.
Really long.
24 minutes and change, I think it was officially. I knew it about you. I think a lot of people kind of got the idea. Anytime any replay in any sport, it doesn't matter the sport, whether basketball, baseball, football, hockey, that sort of deal. in each sport it's different, but after a certain point in each sport when they're reviewing something that they got to have something and they're making sure of it if it's taking that long. Once we got to about the 10-minute mark on that, I had the idea, okay, they must have something, or else they will have, at this point, already said, maximum security is the winner.
Yep.
It was such a, like I said, weird, intense, whatever you want to call it, like half hour, that by the time you got to that final decision, I let out kind of like a sigh of relief. I think a lot of people were elated. Some people pissed off, obviously. Yeah, you said you were up at the Racino. You said you left, right?
Yeah, I thought it was over.
A lot of people, saying, like, I feel bad for people who threw out the tickets. Well, at least the people who threw out tickets could still go and find them. If you ripped up your ticket, you're done. Just a weird, like I said, weird.
And it is official. There will not be a Triple Crown winner this year.
No Triple Crown. Maximum security will be out for the Preakness.
And so is Country.
Country House is out for the Preakness. I think maximum security is just skipping it. Country House currently has a breathing issue. Apparently has a cough, and they're concerned that it's going to get sick. Yeah, Nick, what was you were at a place that had many people, obviously, up at the Racino, and obviously people who had a lot of money on the line, both probably as individuals and collectively, obviously there. So, what was it like being, I guess, in like a mob type of?
It was nuts
environment.
It was pretty nuts. It was a couple hundred people watching it on the big screen. I liked that they were showing Churchill Downs coverage over NBC, which was kind of weird, but that's pretty cool. Weird and cool, but that's not the point. The point is that people were going nuts for number 7, maximum security, because he was one of the favorites. So a lot of people had him. Some majority of people in the room probably had him, and so they were all going nuts. There were some people that were actually rooting for Country House. Definitely heard a couple when he was almost taking the lead towards the end there. But, yeah, a lot of people were excited. Like I said, I left probably 5 minutes after, not realizing that they were even reviewing it. And, yeah, there's probably a lot of people mad. I can't even imagine. That's one of the favorites, and no one really had Country House, so a lot of people were probably really mad. And a lot of people lost some money. Some money that they thought they won. What would be funny is those people who thought they won run up to go cash out their ticket, and then the people at the ticket booth, say, we can't do it. And they wouldn't believe you. They probably think you're crazy. Mm-hmm. They probably think they're joking with you. But nope, he was disqualified. And I don't really like it when I don't really like it when someone wins the Kentucky Derby, doesn't win the Preakness, and now they're not even competing in the Preakness. Loses my interest on the Preakness. I'll still watch it. I mean, the Preakness, the Belmont is obviously bigger than the Preakness. That's why there's 3 weeks to it instead of 2 weeks. And it's kind of hard for a horse to race and then get ready 2 weeks later and race. So I could see why they're worried about him getting sick. But, yeah, definitely loses my interest on the Preakness a little bit. I can see why, because there's no Triple Crown at stake anymore. And that's why the Kentucky Derby is always the biggest horse race of the year. I'm happy that they got the call right. Made it horse racing a little interesting just for a half hour there.
Yeah. So, should you have bet legally, of course, and have won money, we'll go with the top 4 because that goes through a superfecta. So yeah, Country House, Code of Honor. I pronounced it wrong all weekend. I'm still pronouncing it around here. Tacitus.
Yeah, I don't know.
and improbable. So if you had a $2 exacta, congratulations, you netted yourself a little bit over $3,000. If you did a $1 trifecta, you netted yourself just south of $11,500. And if you bet a $1 superfecta, you would have won $51,400.
Wow.
And what is perhaps, and I don't know, it would be one thing we'd have to look up, perhaps the largest amount of money ever in a Kentucky Derby betting scenario.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody win it?
I'm sure there's probably someone out there. I mean, crazier things have happened, I suppose. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
Good thing I didn't bet none of the horses I thought.
I never even think about... You ever bet a superfecta? I've never done
No, when I bet horses, I tend to do like a box trifecta. So, yeah, I don't know. Something about betting... I don't have a problem betting 4 football games. I have a problem betting 4 horses.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Oh, you know more about football.
Do we?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, I guess I'll wrap it up early, for horse racing.
We'll go from one Triple Crown to the next Triple Crown.
That is right, Nick. I love the way you did that because the MLB is off to a pretty wild start. A lot of storylines going on. We've already had we discussed
Belly and Yelly.
Yes. Some interesting things with bat flips and retaliations and unwritten rules. The NL, Cody Bellinger, I almost called him by his dad, Chris. Shows how, I guess, old we are in a way. And Kristen Yelich. Yelich, who was on the DL for 10 days, still tied. I think he might. No, wait. He might be a couple behind Bellinger now for home runs. Or no, he might be ahead by 1.
Yeah, he's right there still.
Yeah. They've been crazy. Keuchel and Kimbrel are still unsigned. And you have Shohei Ohtani making a return for batting anyway. He won't be pitching at all this year, but he makes his return tonight. You have battered, injured teams like the Yankees who are somehow still hanging around in the early part of the season. You have a team like the Pirates who they're maybe hovering around 500 right now, but like I said at the beginning of the year, that pitching staff, they're putting them in there. They also have 2 great young rookies, and one of them has great head of hair, tremendous head of hair. So,
Cole Tucker.
Yes. I forgot his name. I was about to call him Cody something, but...
Nope. Cole Tucker.
But a lot of cool stuff going on. Out west, the Mariners have looked really good so far.
Home runs.
Home runs galore. They set the record for most home runs hit, at least from an in-game perspective, by hitting 1 per game through 20. Was it 20 straight up?
I think it's 20 plus something.
Yeah, I thought they got to 21 or 22 maybe, but
it was the record.
They got the record at the start of the year, so they still got some matchers. They're beating the Yankees right now, I think 5-1 or something like that. So a lot of fun going on in baseball right now. You got Philly fans booing Harper already. It's just a bunch of different stuff. So
He just hit a grand slam tonight, though.
He did. In St. Louis.
The Marlins are still losing.
Shocker.
The Nationals and Mets are struggling.
Shocker.
The AL Central is still weak.
Shocker.
And how about the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, they sneaky there.
Yes. What do you think? I know it's working early on. Do
Oh.
you like...
Speaking of the Mets, don't mean to interrupt, but I have some breaking baseball news. Robinson Canó hit his 2,500th career hit tonight.
What was it?
I don't know.
Oh.
It just says Bleacher Report had it, so figured I'd say it to the airwaves.
So I know he's been working on early going. Do you like starting a bullpen pitcher? Start a game.
Yeah, I mean, they did it a couple. They didn't do it a couple times. They did it quite often last year. I guess, I don't have a necessary problem with it. I think it gives you a new dimension you can kind of look. I think that's the cool part about baseball, right, is the thinking aspect of it. Same token, I guess, however, I can understand why a pitcher might throw your true starting pitcher off coming in, in the second inning when the game's already going, might throw off your warm-up routine. A lot of pitchers have these routines where they go out and pretty much throw in the bullpen for, at the very least somewhere in the half-hour range before start time. So I can understand why a starting pitcher might throw him off a little bit, but I guess in theory I don't mind it. Kind of like I get the idea of it. So
now, most importantly, do you think the Rays will hang around this season with Snell, Morton, and Glasnow as their three aces?
You got your three guys right there who have done phenomenal off the bat here, right? Blake Snell, really out of those three is probably technically pitched the worst, right? But yeah, the way those are, and even then, it wasn't like Blake Snell I thought was throwing, bad. It's just that it seemed to be like that one day a week when your offense would struggle, for whatever reason. So, Morton, you kind of expect that out of Morton and Glasnow. In Pittsburgh, kind of, it's safe to say got lost in the shuffle a little bit. A lot of young guys do on a lot of teams. It happens. A lot of these guys will, they'll get to the big leagues and, they may get lost in, like I said, the shuffle a little bit. And they move on to the next team in line and they kind of, not resurrect, but that's where you go, now that's where that was supposed to be, 2 or 3 years ago. So, it happens, It sucks if you're a Pirates fan, obviously, unfortunately. This was the guy who you thought was probably going to be your ace for the next 7 to 8 years.
And Morton's also an ex-Pirate.
Yeah, that's right. I guess I tend to associate him more with Houston, though. But, again, for him it took, that next stop.
Well, a couple years to be associating Glasnow with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That's where they had their best years. And I think the American League, at the end of the day, will stay the same. I think the only difference you're going to get is that final wild card team. I think the Rays will fall off. I think the Yankees and the Red Sox will still be up there. The Red Sox are starting to get hot. The Yankees are still playing strong. I still think it's the Indians division to lose. And Houston is Houston. Who will be that fifth and wild card team? Could be Tampa Bay. It could be the Mariners. Mm-hmm. And I think it could be the Twins.
Yeah, I was about to say that Twins team has been an interesting.
One of those three teams.
The Twins team has been an interesting group to follow so far, right?
They've been playing well.
Yeah.
Nice division to play.
Yeah, that's the thing with that division is I thought the team that the Twins would be, at least in that division, was probably going to be the White Sox this year. I figured, they might surprise a little bit, but not, I guess, truly contend. And if you look at it here a month in, yeah, it can make a case for the Twins for a wild card, I think, realistically. Again, though, something I think will fall off the table for them. I don't know if it will be so much offensively. That team offensively is kind of a dark horse team. I think we kind of all slept on, admittedly. They got guys there who produce. Rosario. Buxton, when he's healthy and in a groove, is both offensively and defensively a top 5 center fielder.
Jose Barrios.
Jose Barrios is really going to be...
He's
your one true
he's the real
dominant
deal.
Arm, though.
Now, you mentioned Ohtani. Mm-hmm. Him and Trout. Will their seasons be lost and the Angels losing again?
Yeah. I said it. They don't have really anyone... Look, Simmons is good. I love Andrelton Simmons. But the albatross in that room is the freaking contract of Albert Pujols. They're shackled. Their pitching is god-awful. And really, once you get outside of Trout, Simmons, at least off the bat here, Justin Bour, their offense, too, has not been, that great overall. It has its moments. But, it's like what I said. Like, you can spend all the money you want on Trout, but you don't have anything around him. Your minor league system's depleted. You're going to spend literally years struggling, I think. They got to do something with the Pujols contract. I don't know if it's this year. I don't even know if it's next year, but they got to do something. Or until then, they'll be shackled. They'll be a bottom 2 team in that division, I think, no matter what. And I don't care how good Trout is. If you have one guy, baseball, it's that one sport where one guy is not going to make that difference. You need everyone on that field, all 9 people, or 10 people if you want to look at it from the American League side with the DH. You need whoever's on that field at any given time to be in sync, to be at the peak, because when you crash and burn, you crash and burn. Football, I get it. You have 17 weeks, 16 games, 11 guys. I get that there's more people, but you take Tom Brady away from the Patriots, I don't know if they're that team that goes 12-4, 11-5.
No.
You put Tom Brady on the Bills, that's an instant 10-6, 11-5 team. You know what I mean? Baseball's that one sport where you need everyone in sync, and I don't think the Angels can get to it.
Nope. Like I said, I think it would be the 3 teams in the East, 2 teams in the Central, and 2 teams in the West. The 7 of them will be competing for the 5 spots.
Yeah.
Everyone else, good luck.
Godspeed. Your NL Central, though, that's a fun division to watch so far, because that's been about as close as I expected it to be so far, especially off the bat.
It's gonna be tight.
Yeah. I think the only team below 500 in that division is Cincinnati right now, and even then, they're only like 2 or 3 games out of 500.
Yep.
So, I know St. Louis has, I think, a couple games in hand over the rest of the division, but even then, like, they all play each other pretty much here off the bat here for a while.
Pirates Cardinals got a big 4-game series this weekend, but I think you got those 4 teams, maybe the Reds. There's really, like, in the American League, like I just said, I just basically eliminated 8 teams.
Yeah.
The National League, you cannot say that. You can just say
Marlins for sure.
And some mediocre teams in there.
I think the Marlins for sure.
I
think the Mets for sure, only because it's the Mets.
Okay, yeah, that's Mets. Yeah, but they had some high expectations going into this season, but
yeah.
Same with the Nationals. I think the Nationals manager, what's his name? Something.
Davey Martinez.
Davey Martinez. He's called Johnson. Davey Johnson, no. But Davey Martinez and Mickey Callaway could be on the hot seats.
Yeah.
They definitely can.
He was already on the hot seat. Martinez was, so.
And it's weird because Gabe Kapler was actually on the hot seat, Phillies manager. But now he's got this great team, and the team's playing well.
I think he was on the hot seat for more things he was saying to, like, the media and stuff like that, because he's actually a really good manager if you look at it from that team that he had last year. So
I know you were high on him.
Yeah.
I wasn't, but the Braves, I'm saying, you were high on them, and I wasn't. And they're playing 500 ball right now. They're not playing real well. Arizona's playing well.
That team's weird, man.
Yeah, they don't have any stars. You lost Goldschmidt.
Zach Greinke looks like West Virginia.
What's that mean?
Have you seen his hair? It's weird. It looks like he's killing raccoons out in the woods and then frying them up on the grill.
They're playing well. The Padres have been playing well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that quick before I guess we transition on out of here. The Padres, They were a team I said, they might show some signs of life, but don't anticipate too much, I don't think, this year. But, man, Machado got off to a slow start, but that team around him was the one who was kind of carrying him. And now he's starting to come around. Are they a team that could possibly sustain?
Yeah, it's early. They could be that team, maybe could surprise the year. They could also be that team that fades in the second half of the season. You never know. But it's nice to see for San Diego, a team, I think, other than the Mariners, have the longest playoff drought.
Yeah, they're up there.
Remember the Marlins?
No, wait. No. Marlins. Padres made it in 07, technically.
I think the Marlins 06.
Yeah. No, Marlins 03. They haven't made it since they won the World Series.
They haven't made it since Bartman?
No.
Really?
No.
I was thinking because they're actually playing in Wrigley tonight, and that's where that Bartman game happened. But
the Marlins need more than Bartman right now.
Yeah, But I will say that one pitch for the Marlins, Caleb Smith, he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good. I'll say I don't know where they got him in one of the trades, right? I think he's one of the trades.
I think he might have been a Yankee, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he might have been the Stanton trade.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's good. He's the one thing I'll say about that team that is good.
I want to go back to the Padres quick. What about Chris Paddock?
Yeah.
He was, yesterday he's on, but he's been on all year. And the stuff with Pete Alonso I think is great, right? Because, we need that stuff in baseball right now, rejuvenate. We need that personality, and we need Pete Alonso got NL Rookie of the Month, and Chris Paddock had a very good argument for NL Rookie of the Month too. Right?
Is that what the debate was about?
Yeah, and Chris Paddock was like, hey, that should be mine. I'm going to prove it tonight. And he did. He shut down Pete Alonso. And I think that's great. I like having the guys gunning for each other with, personality, having fun.
That's just a month award.
Yeah. Think about that. That's crazy. I like that, though. It's been a while since we've kind of had this in baseball, and I like having it back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think nationally it's going to be tough. American League, they'll both be close for the playoffs, but...
We are heading to overtime in Game 7, by the way.
Really? You called it 1-1?
1-1.
All right.
What do you think? Probably about does it for today, I'd assume.
Yeah, go Pirates.
Go Buccos.
You know what next Tuesday is, though? We will have to
May 14th.
We'll have to talk about the New York Knicks.
Oh.
And the NBA draft lottery
That's
next Tuesday. It will be before the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to.
Will the Heat get it?
Hey, they're in it.
They got a shot.
0.01% or whatever it is.
0.01%.
We have a shot. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for this week. Next week we'll have a lot to talk about, sort of. Obviously the playoffs still. The draft lottery. When's the PGA? Is the PGA this weekend?
Not this weekend. So we could do like a preview.
Yeah, we can discuss that. I thought it was this weekend because I saw an update. John Daly's going to be the first golfer to use a cart in a major.
I heard that.
Since 1998. So.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. Who are you shouting out today?
Well, Pat.
Yes, I do know him.
Your brother. Comes on the show every month.
Yep.
His buddy Austin. I don't know his last name. Do you know his last name?
Yeah, but I'm going to butcher it if I say it.
Well, shout out to Pat's friend Austin from Oswego. Good kid. Met him this last weekend. He's a good kid. He's just another Pat. He needs to come on the show one of these times. Shout out Austin.
All right. And if you guys haven't already, you should like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff here for Finger Lakes 1. Make sure to download their app. It's really great. You get push notifications for all the major stuff. And that in mind, we'll catch you next week on the Fresh Takes Podcast.